then the last name came up, and I just started crying.
Police say Mrs. Perkins was stabbed in the
chest.
The
news report stated it was an artist who was killed by her son. So I knew it was Jeremy.
And what was the church's reaction to all of this?
At the time, it was a panic.
Rich Dunning says high-ranking church officials flew into town and told everyone to stay quiet.
Was there a cover-up?
Yes, there was.
And the purpose of the cover-up was what?
To distance the church as far as away they could from Jeremy Perkins.
Dunning says the murder was a PR nightmare for the church for two reasons. First, it exposed the danger of Scientology's ban on psychiatry. But equally important, it punctured the church's promise that by reaching higher OT levels, true believers achieved special powers.
Because, you know, an OT is a super being. Nothing bad should happen to an OT.
They're protected. They're told they're protected. Things like this don't happen.
Gabrielle Carlson hoped the shock of the tragedy would finally force her brother to question the church.
And I love him very much, and I will always love him very much.
Her hopes were in vain.
Absolutely nothing. Nothing changed. It's kind of brushed over. Hush, hush. Move on. Don't talk about it.
But the Perkins family tragedy could not simply be brushed over. Now, Jeremy was facing the charge of murdering his mother. Eight months after the murder of Ellie Perkins, the Church of Scientology threw a gala opening for its new building in Buffalo. Jeremy Perkins was unable to attend the party. He was behind the barbed wire at the Rochester Psychiatric Center.
I didn't think it was wrong for why he did it.
Why not?
Because I thought she was evil at the time.
Within days of his arrest, Jeremy was put on antipsychotic medication. Dr. Joseph says the drugs did not cure Jeremy, but at least they stabilized him.
The change was dramatic, it was remarkable, and I firmly believe, as his doctor in those days, had he received psychotropic medication, perhaps been in a mental hospital for a period of time, I don't think this would have happened.
That's just a hackneyed response by psychiatrists. It's typical of what they will say, because there is no evidence that a psychotropic drug is going to prevent an act of violence.
Scientologist Jan Eastgate believes all psychiatrists are corrupted by connections to the pharmaceutical industry. But curiously, John Nucciarino says Jeremy has his own opinion.
Jeremy himself told me that he firmly believes that had he been taking these medications, that it would not have happened.
Ken Case's prosecution of Jeremy Perkins effectively ended when the state's own psychiatrist concluded that he was not responsible for the murder. The court sent Jeremy to the secure Rochester facility.
Have there been incidents at the institution? Has he been violent toward anyone?
There's been no such incidents. Jeremy is a perfect patient for the people that are there.
Jeremy has never blamed the church for what happened, but he has complained about Scientology's effect on his life.
I felt that I might have been pushed too much into that.
By who?
My parents.
How did they push you?
Because anytime there was a problem, they said that we can handle it in Scientology, which is good, but I lost because I tried to help out too much there when I could have been with my friends.
The Perkins tragedy did not seem to alter the church's position on psychiatry. In 2005, Tom Cruise made his now famous denunciation on national television.
Psychiatry is a pseudoscience. You don't know the history of psychiatry. I do.
Tom, stick to acting. Don't practice medicine without a license. It doesn't suit you.
What do you say to the millions of people who believe that they are benefiting from these drugs? People who may be watching this broadcast tonight.
you know, they need to get thoroughly informed. They're playing a game of Russian roulette with their life. And these drugs are very dangerous, and they need to be informed of all the side effects.
Don Perkins and his daughter Danielle remain devoted to Scientology. After John Nucciarino spoke with 48 Hours, Jeremy was paid a visit from a senior church staffer. Nucciarino was then dismissed and replaced by Richard Griffin, whose firm has worked for the Church of Scientology in the past. No one in the Perkins family agreed to our requests for on-camera interviews. The attorney for Don Perkins explained in a letter that Mr. Perkins was wary of our program because it had a pre-existing agenda in favor of psychiatric drugs. For everyone touched by the murder of Ellie Perkins, there is a palpable sense of loss and regret.
It's just an unnecessary, tragic, horrific, violent crime that happened to a very decent woman.
Mrs. Perkins, why didn't you give us a chance? Please. It didn't have to be that way.
Both Gretchen and Dawn mourn the loss of their friend and worry what will become of the son she loved so dearly.
He has to live the rest of his life knowing what he did to a mother that he loved very much.
The sad truth is Ellie would have done anything for him. Al would have died for him. And she did.
A respected lawyer and his wife viciously attacked.
He swung the axe dozens of times.
He was killed.
It was very personal.
Somehow, she survived.
She could not speak. She held her hand up and she was gesturing me over.
And I said to her, "Can you hear me?" And she nodded her head yes.
Police say what she did next was remarkable.
And the answers that she gave me absolutely blew this case wide open.
Memory of murder